Imagine you're signing up for car insurance in your state. You're given two options. One that allows you the full right to sue, and another that limits your ability to sue in exchange for lower premiums. Which would you choose? Now, what if I told you that in New Jersey, most drivers, 80%, chose a limited right to sue, while in Pennsylvania, only 25% made that same choice? Why? Because in New Jersey, the limited right to sue was the default option, while in Pennsylvania, the default was the full right to sue. Clearly, people weren't making a rational decision based on their perceived value of the right to sue. After all, that wouldn't change depending on which state they lived in. Instead, they made their choice simply based on which box was already checked. This is the status quo trap in action. We tend to stick with whatever is already in place, even when a better alternative exists. The status quo trap is our bias toward maintaining the current situation, even when change would be beneficial. We often resist making changes because it feels easier and safer to stick with what's familiar. This bias shows up everywhere. People stay in jobs they dislike because changing feels risky. Companies stick with outdated technology because that's how we've always done it. Leaders hesitate to implement new strategies even when they know the old ones aren't working. We default to familiar because it feels comfortable, even when it's holding us back. Beyond car insurance, here are more examples of the status quo trap in action. Corporate benefits enrollment. 401k enrollment rates are dramatically higher when employees are automatically enrolled versus when they have to manually opt in. Most people stick with the default setting. Legacy software and processes. Many organizations continue using outdated systems long past their usefulness because switching requires effort. Even when a new system is cheaper and more effective, the friction of change keeps them stuck, holding on to underperforming products. Companies often hesitate to discontinue failing products simply because they've been around for a long time, even when reallocating resources would be a smarter move. Step 2 of the decision-making framework, identifying a range of creative alternatives, helps us avoid the status quo trap. The purpose of step 2 is to generate as many options as possible before settling on a decision. The status quo trap makes us default to familiar choices, often without considering better alternatives. Step 2 forces us to challenge the status quo by deliberately seeking multiple solutions, ensuring that we don't accept the existing state simply because it's easier or more comfortable. So how do we overcome our bias for status quo? Here are 5 strategies. 1. Ask yourself, if this wasn't the default, would I choose it? Challenge your own thinking. If this weren't already in place, would you pick it again? 2. Avoid overstating the cost of change. We tend to exaggerate the effort or disruption of switching, making change seem harder than it really is. 3. Remember that the status quo will change over time. What feels comfortable today might become obsolete tomorrow. Always assess alternatives with a future-focused mindset. 4. Force yourself to make a decision. If you have multiple options that are better than the status quo, don't default to doing nothing just because you're struggling to choose. Pick the best path forward. 5. Conduct a cost-benefit analysis. Instead of assuming change is risky, quantify the potential benefits of switching versus staying the same. Step 5 of the decision-making framework is designed to guide you through this process. Mastering the ability to challenge the status quo will help you make better choices, drive innovation, and stay ahead of the competition. Instead of resisting change, you'll learn to embrace opportunities that align with your objectives and drive real value.